Yeah.
Hello, PT Army, and welcome to the PTR show. What episode are we on? We're on episode 5.
Something
I
like
believe
that.
it is.
It's one of those
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, it's 4 or 5.
So today we're discussing the Mario Kart Direct, we're discussing Marathon, and we are doing a preview of Rematch. But first, how we doing, fellas?
I'm alright,
Yeah.
mate.
Oh,
Yeah,
what,
I'm not too bad.
what have we been playing recently?
Your mum.
Hey.
Oh,
I forgot we were recording.
Let's go with Big Al first, please.
big up. Right, so I finally finished Metaphor. That's done. You'll see a review of that soon, hopefully. I finished Ocarina of Time, another banger. Go watch our review of that from like 3 years ago. That was a banger. And I've just started Death Stranding. I'm like 6 hours in. I've nearly finished chapter 2, and I do not know how I feel about it.
To be fair, you've only played it the once if you're still on chapter 2, right?
What?
You've only played the game, like you only had one session of it if you're still on chapter 2.
Wait, that's true.
No,
yeah.
I've had 2 sessions.
Two
I
sessions.
did one.
Okay.
It's played 6 hours.
Yeah, you need to lock
I
right
played-
the fuck
yeah.
in, Alex, and just, you know what I mean? No 1 hour sessions there and there.
Yeah,
You need to lock the
No,
fuck
I know,
in.
I know. It's just I just feel like I'm trudging through it. The goop is really annoying me. It really frustrates me that I'm walking along and just fucking all my shit just gets fucking whisked away from me, and then I have to fucking go back, go pick it up, and then I'm still getting fucking mauled by the black goop.
It sounds,
but
it
just
sounds to
don't
me
get-
like, yeah, it sounds to me like
don't get caught by the BBs.
Don't-
Sorry,
yeah.
the BTs.
don't get caught by the BTs, man. That is the main thing you need
Like,
to do there.
Winding me up.
Like literally just sneak past them and then you won't get
How do you
caught.
sneak past them?
Hold your breath and be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
is it
like,
slow?
so crouch first of all, and then when you get
So I have to go even slower.
yes.
Yeah.
So when
Probably quicker than getting caught by them.
yeah, when
Yeah.
when your thing is going like that, then you crouch, and when it's going, you hold your breath until it stops doing that.
yeah, the
How do
harder
I
is
hold my breath?
R1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It pops up on screen every time. I'm
Oh no,
sure.
yeah, it literally also does. Yeah, you don't even have to. Yeah, you don't even have to like manage it yourself. It just does it.
I feel like I've not seen that before. I've just been like sprinting the entire time.
How do you know? Do you not have any sense of danger? Like, if you've got like your thing like fucking screaming and crying and like your fan going off. Did you not?
Oh
think
yeah,
any-
I just ignore it.
Yeah, you need to stop rushing. I think.
You're not going to get through that game if you carry on the way you're going.
Yeah,
It's not gonna happen.
that's like that's an awful way to tackle it.
Yeah,
Well,
take
I'm
it.
nearly done with chapter 2, so
You'd be done with chapter 4 if you weren't being silly.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
I know sometimes you might want to be like fast and rush it, but it's really not worth it because you're just gonna waste and spend more time doing that than if you just were slow. Like it'd be much quicker if you just don't rush for everything.
Okay, well I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just thought
Well,
I
yeah.
have to deliver them as fast as possible. Hey, I've been getting S ranks, so I must be doing something right.
Yeah. Just yeah.
Weird.
Hands out S ranks like candy to be fair.
Yeah, as long as you don't damage the stuff, it's pretty much happy days.
Damaging it is pretty much the only like requirement for getting like a high rating. Like
Yeah.
everything else does not matter really. It acts like
Okay.
it matters, it does not. Just meant to
Yes.
spray your packages if they're damaged, that's what.
Cool. Ludog,
Cool.
what have you been playing? I know what you've been playing. I'm
Um,
excited to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, mine's obviously similar to Alex's kind of. So I finished Death Stranding. Death Stranding is completely done for me. Death Stranding was an incredible experience. One of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. Just due to the fact that it was unique. I literally probably will never. Well, Death Stranding 2, I guess, but I will never play anything else like it. And it really let me see into the mind of how mental Kojima is because I've never played anything that he's made before. Actually no, I've played one Metal Gear game before, and it was a good time. But this truly this truly let me see why everyone talks about Kojima the way they do, and he really is just sort of a genius. Death Stranding. I mean, Death Stranding going into it, I was very certain I wasn't going to like it. I was pretty much adamant and pretty much told myself that I was just gonna think it was shit and it was gonna stink. And admittedly, for the first I'd say until chapter 3, I didn't love the game. I was just sort of like this is gonna be the game. This is gonna be the gameplay loop. I will complete it because everyone says it's good, but I'm not going to enjoy doing it. But once I did chapter 3, it all just sort of clicked, and then after that, I just sort of couldn't get enough. It stopped being about the gameplay for me. Even though I started finding the gameplay kind of fun, it stopped being about the gameplay. And it just became a thing of like how good the dialogue is and how good the characters are and how good the story is written.
Yeah.
And the music as well. And even just the way it looks, just everything about the game is just so perfectly crafted. That it's just like an incredible time. And it's just an unrivaled experience. I'm very excited for Death Stranding 2, and hopefully we all review that. Well, I don't think Niall is. I'm still not sure on that, but hopefully we all review it when it comes out because
well, I'll definitely be playing it.
It's one of my most anticipated games of the year now. I've watched the trailer for the second game like a million times, and I'll probably watch it a million times more before the game comes out.
I think we will review it. I think, like I say, it might just be slightly delayed because that month is insane for games coming out.
Is it?
Well, you got the Switch too. The thing is, you got the Switch too, and that's just Mario Kart. Mario Kart World is going to take up a lot of our time. Without
no, yeah, for sure. But yeah, Death Stranding, I could ramble on about that for like 2 hours, but I'm not going to. But very, very good game. If you've ever had any doubts about playing it, just give it a go. And just try and commit to it. It's just a very, 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 very good game. And the other game that I also want to rave about, but I'm only like a third of the way through, is Last of Us 2. I'm a human being who's never played The Last of Us before, and I've only just started making my way through it. Last of Us 1 was beaten the other week, incredible time. And Last of Us 2 so far has pretty much just been the first game, but better in every single way.
Yeah.
I genuinely have no complaints with anything that has happened. Any issues that I had with the first game, gameplay-wise, are just gone. Like completely fixed. And I played the remake, is it a remake? I guess it's a remake, or is it a remaster? The remaster remake thing of Part 1, which I assume based a lot of its mechanics and a lot of its changes on Part 2.
Yeah.
But even then, Part 2 is still just considerably better in every single way.
Yeah, they still had to make it so Ellie and Joel controlled very differently.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes.
But that's been an incredible time so far. I'm in this like weird period right now where I'm sort of playing through games that I should have played because there's a lot of games like that I just still haven't managed to do. And I'm in this weird period right now where I'm just sort of going through all those like classic games that I've somehow missed over the years, and I'm having a great time. It's gonna suck once I'm done with all these games because I know for a fact every single game that I'm playing at the moment is just going to be a banger, like an all-time classic. So the fall off's gonna be really sad when it does happen, but for now I'm having a great time.
Doom Eternal next. It's gotta be.
Oh yeah, Doom Eternal. I was gonna say that's the new one. No, that's Dark Age.
Expedition 33 is coming out first.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, because I assume you're gonna play the Dark Ages when it comes out. Lewis.
When does it come out?
Well, sometime after it comes out. It's next month.
Yeah, I'll play it. So yeah, I probably won't play it on release, but I'll play it.
You gotta play.
I'll be playing it on release.
He'll be playing. Have you played Eternal, Alex?
Yeah, I played both.
Have you?
I loved them.
Interesting.
You loved them?
Didn't know.
What? Yeah.
But yeah, those are my two games. Like I said, I could talk about them more for ages, but I need to move on. But yeah, both top tier games.
Cracking. I'm going to talk about. Mine and Niall's games are pretty much going to be the same. Shuts up. I've since the last PTR show, I've completed 3 games. I completed South of Midnight, Blueprints, and Doom Eternal, which I've just finished today. South of Midnight, great time. It's fun to play. It's a nice story. My only big issue with it is that if you are gonna do stop motion animation in a game, then you need to make sure it is optimized up the arse. Otherwise, it just makes it look like a juttery mess. And I don't know, I said to you guys that you could turn off the stop motion. You can. You just turn it off for the character that you're playing as. During gameplay, it comes back on for cutscenes, and everything else around all the other characters are still stop motion no matter what. But the game itself is fine. But what I do want to talk about, I'm sure Niall will join me on this, is the blueprints.
The blueprints.
The blueprint, or just blueprints. Now, do you want to tell us your thoughts first, because you haven't finished it?
Yeah, you know what, I will. So Blueprints is one of the best games I've ever played. I'll say that right off the bat. So, and this is for a few reasons. So the first reason is that, so, you know, like with Hollow Knight, I thought I liked Metroidvanias, and it turns out I just like Hollow Knight, and I hate Metroidvanias. It's sort of similar with Portal and puzzle games. Like, I don't really like puzzle games, but I love Portal. What Blueprints does is it fixes my issue with puzzle games. So, you know, like, say you get to like mid to late stages of a puzzle game and you go into a puzzle room, the door locks behind you or whatever, or you definitely can't progress forward. And then you're given your boxes, you're given your cubes, you're given your tools that you need to overcome the puzzle, and all the obstacles in the way. And it just stumps you and you're like at a brick wall and you have no idea how to progress. And so you just sort of like in this frustrating moment where you spend however long until you either stumble upon the answer or you get cave in and look it up. With blueprints, that completely removes all of that because there's no point where you're physically stuck, unable to progress whilst trying to figure out a puzzle. Instead, what the game does is it gives you a bunch of things to pique your curiosity. So, like, when you start the game and you walk around the grounds, you'll see a path which leads to a gate, but you can't get through it. There'll be another gate with a key, a padlock. There'll be a tent. There'll be like some weird trees with something in the middle of it. All of this like piques your interest because you're like, there's got to be something to do with this because the rest of the environment's pretty barren. But the game's it's very obvious that you don't have the tools to uncover what this actually is. And then once you actually get inside the manor, like one example which I'll give without spoiling it is that you'll notice pretty quickly that pretty much every single room has like two paintings on the walls. And as you go through the rooms, you might realize that the paintings, apart from in the entrance hall, aren't always the same. And you can't really figure out why, but that's now cemented in your brain that is something to consider. And with that example, eventually the game will give you a very obvious clue on how to solve it. And so it sort of cuts out the middle bit where you're stuck being frustrated. Instead, it gives you all the stuff at the beginning, all the tools and the variables which you need to solve the puzzle, and then it allows you to explore and uncover stuff and have fun in other ways. And then it brings you to the end of that puzzle solving journey. And throughout the game, the puzzles themselves, the solutions to the puzzles are never hard, apart from some stupid billiard room puzzles, which I can't are ridiculous with some of the maths, and some of the gem ones as well in the parlor room are ridiculous, I think. But yeah, that's what I really like about it is that it's a puzzle game without the frustrating parts of a puzzle game, in my personal opinion.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
So I finished the game, and since we're not going to do a review of it, I'll just do my score here. So I've given it a solid 5 out of 10. It looks nice. It controls nice. The puzzles that are room specific are good. Like I don't really have any issues with that. My biggest issue really is there's a lot of games coming out or being made that are combining two different gameplay types. So like the deck builders, a big one that's been incorporated into loads of different types of games. I don't think, like say, roguelite and a puzzle game should go hand in hand at all. It doesn't work. It does not work at all because a puzzle has a fixed solution, right? So if you know the solution to a puzzle, but you cannot like forge ahead with it because of fucking RNG every single time, it's just so incredibly frustrating. I knew how to get to into the room you need to get into in order to finish the game. I knew how to do that from day 18. I did not manage to get into it until day 35. That's a lot of gameplay just smashing my head against the same brick wall over and over again in order to make it work. That's not how a puzzle game should be. It's like it's almost as if you're doing a jigsaw puzzle, but you are buying booster packs of pieces, like Pokemon cards. You know what I mean? So it's like you've got one piece of the puzzle left, but you have to keep buying booster packs over and over and over and over again in order to get that one piece of the puzzle. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. That puzzle that you're talking about now with the 2 pictures, it's the biggest puzzle in the game. In terms of like this, like having a single puzzle that you need to solve, it's the biggest one that takes the most amount of work because you have to go into every single room on the map, and the solution is something like for a lot of people. I know Niall, you didn't, right? But a lot of people will have already figured out. Like it's not a way to finish the game or anything. It's just saying how you unlock the safes, and in the safes, by the way, is just a fucking gem in every safe, Niall. Every single safe. And
I opened the boudoir one, and there was more than just a gem.
Sorry, it gives you a bit of story as well. And the story, by the way, is so far up its own ass, it can smell its tonsils. It is ridiculous. And
the geezer told me about the 8 letters, the 8 red letters, and that was important with the safes, right?
The 8 red letters just contain story.
Yeah, well, you know,
they don't give you any clues to any other thing, and the story is. I can't spoil it, but it is stupid. It's supposed to be some kind of to me it's some kind of spin on social the way on social commentary on politics and stuff like that. And the reward, again, I'm not going to spoil what's in the room at the end of the game. The reward is not worth it at all. I couldn't believe it. I dropped the controller in frustration. It's like because I've spent so many hours trying to get into this room, and it is not worth it at all.
The journey is worth it, surely.
Not
right. So I'm not assuming anything. I just want to ask one question first. Did you look anything up? I looked up
a couple of things. I did.
Okay. Did you look up anything to do about to get to the final room?
One.
Okay,
and it was what I told you about the foundation.
Yeah, well, it's pretty irrelevant. But do you not think that if you just were like, you know what, I know what I'm gonna do, but I'm just gonna live it. You know, I'm just gonna be a chill guy. 'Cause that's the thing. Like, it probably took you how long? Like 20 hours to beat, maybe a bit longer,
13.
Something like that. Only 13. You did nearly 40 days. That's ridiculous. I'm on day 20 and I'm at 20 hours right now. It take me an hour per run.
I don't know how the fuck you're doing that. I don't know how you're doing that.
We're just taking
an hour per run. There's not enough rooms in the house.
No, there like the you know the library where it tracks your stats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our average run is an hour per run, and our longest run is like an hour and a half.
My average per run was 15 minutes. Because I looked at that. I looked at that book early on, so that might have changed as I got further into the house. But I can't see it going over half an hour. I thought knows what you were doing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So, like, to uncover everything in the game, people are saying it takes about 120 hours. Like, if I find what I need to do to get to the end, because I feel like I'm on the like the right lines at this point. Like, I'm still going to be looking for other stuff. You know, I'm still excited about the music sheets. You know. Like, it's like getting to the end will be sort of like incidental for me. If I roll credits, I'll probably keep playing. You know, what it sounds to me is that when the BBs are coming for you, you're not holding your breath. That's what it sounds to me, and that's why you didn't have as much fun.
Incorrect. So, so a lot of the puzzles in the game I did do. I pretty much I got all the permanent additions without looking anything up. Permanent additions. I got all the buffs you can get to make it easier to get further into the house, all that kind of stuff. So I spent my time doing that, and I was a chill guy and did all that kind of stuff. But then there was 20 days of getting to the end of the house, and none of the rooms matching up with the doors.
Well, this is the problem, I think, with the roguelite stuff. I think the roguelite stuff does add a lot of stuff. For example, my point at the top of this, which is, you know, it means that even though you might not be progressing the way you want, you can still progress. You're not stuck in a room, being unable to do anything. But yeah, pacing is an issue. Like, that's the thing. Your pacing is incredibly different from mine, which is having an effect on the quality of the game for each of us. Like, what are you shaking your head at?
I just don't think that's true. Because I'm going through it faster is not affecting the quality of the game.
Well, no, so you are at a point now. You were at a point where you had everything you needed in order to beat the game, but then you had to spend 20 days in order to get it. What I'm saying is that there is a possibility. For example, I'm at 20 days and I don't have that. Yeah, I might still beat the game at 37 days, the same as you. I might be uncovering stuff and getting those breadcrumbs and that dopamine and like uncovering those mysteries throughout those 20 to 37 days, and then come to the end, which would be better pacing. I'm not stuck like you for 17 days just trying to achieve one goal.
That's fine. But so, I'll explain. So, how many times have you reached the antechamber? The antechamber's not a spoiler; it's visible on the map. How many times have you reached it?
I have got to the closed door like 3 times, I think, in my 20 runs.
I got to that closed door at least, I want to say 18. It's going to happen to you because the one buff the game does not provide, as far as I'm aware, because I've looked it up, the one buff the game does not provide, unless you have a shit ton of money and the right room on the right day, you can't rotate rooms. And that's all I would have needed.
You got the rotunda.
Yeah, but yes, but you'd need the rotunda to be in the right place in order to.
No, you would. Literally,
like
I've been able to open the antechamber on 3 separate days, and on those days, I've RNG has made it so I couldn't get to the antechamber.
Yeah. That is my biggest issue, because my biggest thing was I wanted to complete the game, and the game would not let me do that. You know what I mean? It's constant. But the reason I give it a 5 and not lower is because I know Lewis was asking this, is because it kept pulling me back in. I wanted to solve the mystery, so it is a good game in that sense, in that it kept dragging me in. It's had its hooks in me, but it was just a very frustrating experience for the second half.
Why did you want to solve the mystery? I thought you said the story was shit.
It's what it does.
I assumed there was going to be something else in that fucking room, Lewis, other than what there was.
Is there something that could have been in that room that would have made you go, "Oh my god, that was incredible! That was so worth it"? Like what?
Do you remember the Spyro 2? Right,
yeah.
When you collect everything and you get that fireball power up. You know what I mean? It's useless at that point because you've already done everything, but it's fucking cool. You know what I mean? It is a cool thing to have. I wanted something just to, I don't know, even just if they change the color of the house or something, like anything to like say, I have completed this game, rather than what they gave me, which I can't spoil because Niall hasn't completed. I will tell you later. And the credits roll, I just couldn't believe that was it. I could not believe that was what was in the room.
It is the way the game's designed, though, as well. Like, that's the thing. The game, especially early on, like, it gives you, like I was saying at the start, like, it gives you a bunch of things to be curious about. And those moments earlier on, those eureka moments, which the game very much helps you do it, but because you got to that room yourself, which tells you, like, those are really powerful. Especially if you have, like, 2 or 3 runs where you don't really see anything new. And then you get that one thing, and it can completely change your perspective on, like, a lot of the game. And there's loads of that, which does keep you coming back. Like, whenever me and Meg finish a run, we are actively excited about the next one. Like, that's what we're talking about leading up to when we get to play it again, because we want to see what that next big moment's going to be. Like, when we got to the part of the foundation, which is important, like, we just stumbled across it. Like, I didn't even think about going into a room in that way. And we lost our minds, like, holy shit. We thought, for there's no context really for the foundation, we thought we'd need a crossbow because it's like, because of the string.
All right, okay.
Yeah, we thought, okay, that's the only way to solve it. We need to find a crossbow. And that obviously, like, is completely wrong. But yeah, the game's just really, really good at stuff like that.
I will explain myself slightly for why I used a guide on that bit. It's because all the rest of the pieces for the first time had lined up, and I knew that I needed to go in there, and I knew I needed to go. I knew I needed to go, and I could not figure out how to do it. Luckily, the room.
Did you have the key?
I had the key.
Oh, see, that's what I mean about pacing. You know what I mean? Like, we got a goal now. We got a goal to get. We've got the goals like in a different order, innit? Yeah. Which changes the quality of the experience. Like, I need that now when I've done that. You know what I mean, Lewis? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, we've been waffling on enough about this anyway. So let's move on to the news, shall we? I'm going to go first. I'm just going to quickly rattle through the. I'll just get the video up. Quickly rattle through the Mario Kart Direct and what was announced in it. Did any of you guys watch it after the fact? I know none of you watched it live.
I did.
You did.
I skimmed through it.
Right. So basically, it was just kind of announcing like little bits about the game, kind of thing. There wasn't anything like mad that was announced, but
No.
so they showed some courses off. They showed Mario Brothers Circuit, Crown City, Salty Speedway, Starview Peak, and Boo Cinema. They're all new courses. There was some returning ones: Toad's Factory, Peach Beach, and Wario Shipyard. Those are all returning. They then pretty much announced the full, unless you can unlock characters later on or unless it's DLC. This is, as far as I know, the full roster. Right. So we got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Yoshi, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, Baby Rosalina, Koopa, Rocky Wrench, don't know who that is, Conkdor, Goomba, Spike, Cow, King Boo, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Waluigi, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Birdo, Bowser Jr., Lakitu, Toad, Wario, Pauline, Toadette, Shy Guy, Nabbit, Piranha Plant, Hammer Bro, Monty Mole, Dry Bones, Wiggler, Cataquack, Pianza, Sidestepper, and Cheep Cheep. So there's a lot of characters. There is a lot. There's a lot. They've added a lot of your basic enemies in there. Really good. Massive fan of it in terms of like the sheer amount of.
That's Rocky Wrench.
I thought that was a Monty Mole.
Yeah,
no, it's Rocky Wrench.
All right, so again, it's just a Monty Mole with a.
He's Monty Mole with a wrench.
With a wrench, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But there's no Monty Mole character. Oh no, wait, there is. So there's Monty Mole and Rocky Wrench.
Yeah.
Christ. Okay. Fair play. That could have probably been a costume. Speaking of costumes, so all the characters you get costumes via eating. There are various drive-thrus throughout the world. You drive through that, pick it up, and you unlock that costume permanently for use in character select, which is good. There seems to be a few collectibles and unlockables in the free roam mode, which is good. It gives its purpose, makes you want to explore the world. That's great.
Literally, I was saying this to Alex the other day. I was like, Mario Kart 8. I don't know about you guys. You probably did. I did not touch the single player once. I only ever played it online. Because
I always
there was no reason to. There was no reason.
Costume.
There was no reason to play the single player like at all. Like obviously, yeah, you could unlock like Golden Mario or whatever it was.
Yeah, but you don't. Well, who's playing as Mario? Let's be honest.
I literally don't care. The story in this, or at least the campaign mode, there's a multitude of reasons to actually play through it. Yeah. So I am excited for it for like the first time ever. I
always go through every course once through single player GP before I play online. I want to know all the courses. And so there's a Grand Prix and Knockout Tour. There's two ways of playing these courses, and if you do all the Grand Prix, like we were just discussing, that's how you unlock Rainbow Road.
Oh yeah, I did read that as well. Yeah. No, I'm excited for it. It looks like it's shaping up to be a really fun time. Is it going to be like revolutionary? I mean, no. Well, does it look really fun? Yeah.
Smash
Bros. It's going to be a great time.
Smash Bros. Ultimate wasn't revolutionary, but it was still, amazing.
I mean, I'm impressed, to be fair, with what they have added to a Mario Kart game so far. Like, in terms of the Mario Kart formula, at least to me, basically being like pretty good with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They added and changed a lot of stuff to the point where it's like significantly different, and I didn't think they'd be able to do that with a new Mario Kart. It was one of those things we were always joking about. Every time a Nintendo Direct would come around, we kept saying they're not going to announce Mario Kart 9 because what are they going to do?
Yeah,
like what could they possibly do? And I honestly, with Mario Kart World, they kind of showed us what they can do. And they did manage to come up with new stuff, so it's just kind of impressive, honestly.
No, yeah, it's like I said, they could have just added more carts and more tracks and stuff like that. But I think, like you say, everyone would have been a bit wound up about that, considering how big Mario Kart 8 ended up being. Like they said, they've changed the formula a bit, and I think it's going to work. Finally from the Direct, sorry, the new items they announced was Coin Shell, Ice Flower, Hammers, Mega Mushroom, and Feather, which is making a comeback from like Super Mario Kart. I think last time Feather was in it.
I was going to mention the other mechanic that they announced, the rewind feature.
Oh, of course, the rewind feature.
Which I think is going to be really cool. So basically what you can do is whether... I don't know if it works online. I assume it does because it would just work the same way it does in single player. But basically you can rewind your character if you like mess up a corner or something. So you can rewind and go back to where you originally were, but everyone else carries on moving at like their normal speed. So you reverse, but everything else carries on moving forward. So it's one of those like risk versus reward type things where you can like go back and try and get this corner better. But it obviously means you're going to get put further back. and I just think that'll allow for a lot of interest in like gameplay mechanics and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're talking about blue shells. Like,
Oh,
if
yeah,
you know a blue shell is coming, rewind. You go into second
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
Let
they won't be able to get
let
it,
first
yeah.
place get hit. You just go straight past them.
Okay, so genuine like fun tactic. No, I just think it'll be a cool feature.
Yeah,
Just nice to
at
have.
first I thought it was going to be like Forza Horizon, where you could like just everyone rewinds as long as you
Yeah,
play
everyone rewinds,
single
yeah,
player.
yeah.
God,
Yeah.
imagine that.
Yeah.
You're playing online with your friends. I'm rewinding.
No, they don't do it. They don't do it online, like obviously justifiably,
Imagine.
but yeah, no, it
Yeah,
would
it's
be
single
a
player in
nightmare.
Forza. You can just cheat basically.
Yeah, and I did many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the Mario Kart 8 direct.
Yeah, I'm
Mario Kart
excited.
8.
I'm trying not
World.
to look at too much stuff for it because I want it to be as fresh as possible when the game does come out, considering it's only coming out in like just over a month. But I'm excited for it. It's gonna be good.
Cool. On to the next. Niall, you want to talk about Marathon?
Oh, go on then. So let me tell you about Marathon. So yeah, Marathon is we got the gameplay stuff that was last week, something like that. So it's been a bunch of interviews with the game director and people working at Bungie, and we just have a lot more information now than previously did about what it was. Pretty much all we knew beforehand was that it was an extraction shooter made by Bungie. People did think that it would be, because the extraction shooter genre is so sort of obtuse and hard to get into, like it's very hardcore, that they'd be going down the more casual route, and these sort of are. But yeah, so off the top, it's three people in a team. So it's a team-based PvPvE extraction shooter game. You can go in solo. There has been confusion about that. You can go in solo. It's heavily discouraged. It's encouraged to either squad up beforehand in a team of three or to search for a team of three. They did try and do a like a solo mode where everyone will be playing solo, but it just didn't work with the game for some reason. You can play as currently in the beta, the alpha, sorry, which people did play through. You could play up to 4 different people. They are like 3D printed people which you take control of, so you're not actually the character. There's going to be 6 at launch, and yeah. So the things that they have tried to do to make it more casual. So first of all, is in the extraction shooter, like in all extraction shooters, if you die, you lose everything. That is staying the same. There's no difference. And also, at the end of every season, you lose everything and start fresh again. Like those two things, like in other extraction shooters, are staying completely the same. What's changing though is they are putting. Well, the biggest mechanical change is that when you down, from what I understand, you are perpetually downed until your squad is wiped or you are revived. So what they're trying to do with that is they're trying to give people more opportunity to create stories of surviving, because that's what they want to focus on. They want people to have stories to be able to tell other people or to relive with their friends of like, oh, it was crazy when we survived this encounter. And one way they're doing that is that when you're downed, you don't die unless your squad is wiped. So that's one thing. The second thing, which is like other extraction shooters to be fair, but people are saying it's more so in this game, is that there are a lot more AI bots compared to real people. Like it's gonna be very unlikely to find real people to fight against compared to the AI bots which you come across, though they are apparently very hard and actually very good as well. And the other thing is that there's going to be a lot of focus on lore and puzzles in the world as well. So there's going to be puzzles which you go in, or that you find throughout the world that you're trying to solve whilst also trying to survive. And the lore is going to be delivered pretty much entirely in logs, which you'll have to read. There's going to be no cutscenes, nothing of that sort. The director of the game said that most people will probably digest the story via YouTube videos, as in like people explaining the story.
Is exactly the
Because
same
it's
as Destiny in that regard.
Well, I was gonna say a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff is sounding very Destiny coded in terms of how they're handling it.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it from what I understand. So yeah, the idea is that if you like extraction shooters, which is good, I will say, like if you like extraction shooters, then the idea is that you'll like this game, because one of the issues is that they could have come across is that in trying to make it more accessible, they alienated both the extraction shooter audience and people interested in extraction shooters, because it wouldn't be an extraction shooter if they made it too accessible. So yeah, what are you guys thinking of Marathon? I also really like the way it looks. Apparently, it's like Marmite for people. Some people hate the way it looks, but I love it.
Yeah, I really like the way it looks as well. I'll just say real quick, I'm very excited for it. I did try signing up for the alpha, and spent ages filling everything out to then find out that it's only available in America right now, or North America. So even if I managed to get a code anyway, I wouldn't have been able to play. But I'm super excited for it. Like you said, they stuck to their guns. And they haven't really changed what an extraction shooter is at all. They've like fully committed to it, and I don't know how popular that is going to be, because the genre itself is already quite niche. And trying to break into like a larger market. I mean, I suppose if there's a game that's going to do it, it would be this one. Considering it's got like Bungie behind it, but I think it looks really fun. The gameplay looks very Destiny, which gets me excited because Destiny's had some of my favorite gunplay of like any FPS ever. And I just think it will be a good game to play. Obviously, it's paid for.
Oh, is it? I was going to ask that.
Yeah,
believe-
people are suspecting $30.
Yeah.
Because they tweeted saying it's going to be they said like a premium priced game, but not a full priced game.
Yeah.
So people are expecting like Helldivers.
Ever since Switch 2's announcement with these games, all these companies I've started noticing like buzzwords coming out about premium games and like not premium games and stuff like that. But I think it's probably going to be about 30, and that's purely based on the fact that Tarkov is also about 30, with like exchange rates and stuff. So it's just going to be one of those games, and it's one of those things where in this current climate, with any multiplayer game, putting a price tag on it is going to harm it. I'm not against putting a price tag on it because I think games can be a lot better, compared to like free to play stuff. Like having like a paid experience a lot of the time can come with like just a much better time. But it's just it obviously might like harm the player base a bit. We'll just have to see when it comes out. I think, like I said, just having Bungie's name on it is going to help it do a lot better than a lot of other games would. But we'll just have to see. But I'm excited for it, and we don't have to wait too long. It's September the release, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. The main negatives that were gained from like the first impressions which people had, from what I could see, is that there's a lot of talk from Bungie that they want this to be a social game. Like they want it to be like sort of like a foundation for people telling stories. But unlike Destiny, there's no social hub and there's no plan to have one. So people were a bit concerned about that. There's also a concern as well that they have admitted that they haven't written down a single bit of story yet, and the game's coming out in September. They said that they know how they're going to deliver it, but they have not started writing it yet. And finally, as well, one other thing which is actually probably slightly detrimental to the game, but was in aid of accessibility, was that the they're called runners, that people could play as, they felt very lackluster in terms of their kits. Like they felt very generic, very basic, which got people a bit worried because that was similar to how people took what's that game that flopped? Concord, as well. People say, yeah, they're really easy to get into and really easy to play. Like you're not taking too long learning how to play them, but as well, they're not super interesting to play. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd have to wait for a free weekend or something. I'm not willing to drop 30 quid on something that I'm really not sure about at all. Like from what I've seen, like Lewis says, it looks like the gunplay looks very Destiny. I like the way the heads pop in almost exactly the same way as they do.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to wait for reviews and stuff like that. I'm not willing to just say no. I'm going to buy this day one because I don't think I am.
I'm sure they'll do like an open beta before it comes out.
Yeah, that would be good because this is the kind of game that could very easily be free to play, and I think the way I'm thinking about it is the way that a lot of people are going to be thinking about it.
No,
but
I mean, to be fair, I do think, not that they're bad, but I do think free to play gaming has ruined people's minds a little bit, just a tad.
It's not free to play game. It's battle passes that have ruined everyone. I know they go hand in hand.
Yeah, they have to be.
If you are charging me for a battle pass, then the idea is I shouldn't have to pay for the game anymore because that's the way that everyone's gone.
I just think people's minds are a bit because we had the same argument, not argument, but the same discussion the other day with Rematch about that being paid, and you brought up the battle pass thing in that. Because a lot of people, one of the main complaints about a Rematch was people saying that this should be free to play, and I don't know if I agree. I think it's good to have paid experiences and like giving devs money for a game that they made, and then they can just sort of improve it from then on. I don't necessarily agree with the idea that everything or any multiplayer experience should be free to play.
Well, it runs the risk of the PC gaming market and console gaming market turning into the mobile market. Like mobile games used to be paid,
yeah.
And then people started releasing free mobile games and putting some ads in there, and then it was like, why would I ever pay for a mobile game?
Yeah, you know? and now mobile games are just microtransactions. So like, literally every single one of them. You can't like download a single game on your phone now without having some sort of payment in order to do something.
I think as long as the price is the same as a battle pass season or two or whatever, and you get those, that is completely fine in my book.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good way to do it, definitely. I understand as well the point of the battle pass for this type of game is because it is going to be a different game a year after launch, and it's going to get better and better and better, and they need to be able to fund that some way. Yeah.
What I don't agree with is making something free to play later, which is what everyone's done, because the thing is we've already paid for it.
Yeah, that is annoying when that happens.
So
that was a big thing, wasn't it? Like Rocket League did that, I remember.
Rocket League did it,
yeah.
Fall Guys did it.
Yeah, Fall Guys. Did you have to pay for Fortnite originally, or was that always free to play?
You did have to pay for
originally. Save the World mode.
You had to pay for Save the World, which gave you access to the whatever it's called.
It just feels like
no, you could play Battle Royale for free. It was just Save the World.
It just feels like a scummy thing to do, like charging people until they can find out whether their battle pass system is profitable or not, and then just letting it be free to play. I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. But we're gonna move on. Alex.
Yeah.
What are we talking about, fella?
Something that I'm more interested in than Marathon because that looked dog water.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't have an animal running around or an Italian plumber running around.
You could jump though.
You could jump though, yes, that's just...
Yeah, but it looked mad boring. Anyway, Nintendo comments on hopes for a new 3D Mario on the Switch 2. Obviously, we're getting Donkey Kong,
Bonanza,
Banana, Balooza, Banana, whatever his face is.
Bonanza.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people are hoping for like an Odyssey 2, but I just want like its own like little thing because obviously they had Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2. I'd rather just see an entirely new take on the 3D Mario because we had Odyssey. Odyssey was its own thing. We were hoping for an Odyssey 2 on the Switch 1, but I feel like we just need like an entirely new like 3D Mario. Obviously, I don't mean like Mario 3D World where you get to like the end of the level, like an actual collectathon. What we all thinking?
Yeah, I think so. I think it could go either way. I know I keep saying to Lewis because he wants Mario Odyssey 2. I keep saying to him it's not going to happen. And the reason I say that is because they've never done it cross-generation before, but they've also never done a new generation like they're doing now, where it is just the Switch 2. It's the first time they've ever used 2 in as a marker for a new console. So it could very well be an Odyssey 2. I hope, but I'm with you. I hope it isn't. I hope it is a new thing that they do. The thing is, they seem to have stopped innovating now in terms of consoles, or they've added a mouse gimmick.
The mouse.
But it's
talking about.
Yeah, but the entire every single generation, the gimmick has been built around. You know what I mean? That's the main focus. The mouse is an afterthought. That was super. You know what I mean? That was like a Nintendo but super. Yeah, it was all those extra buttons. Everything was built around the extra buttons.
I see.
Anything else? No.
No.
I'm not excited for this.
No.
Marathon for me.
That's
because he's not getting a Switch 2. Otherwise, he would be. He loved Odyssey.
Well, yeah, exactly.
My only thing about this is I've changed my tune a little bit.
It's changed.
In that well, after seeing at least to me, after seeing Donkey Kong, I think it's very clear that the team who worked on Mario worked on Donkey Kong,
Yeah,
and Donkey Kong basically is Mario Odyssey 2.
Yeah.
Like, based
Yeah.
down to like the way it plays, the way it looks, just everything about it, it basically just seems like Mario Odyssey 2. So I've pretty much given up on the idea that Mario Odyssey 2 even exists. Because I feel like Donkey Kong is basically the spiritual successor to that, and I feel like whatever they're gonna do with Mario is just gonna be a completely new, completely fresh experience, completely detached from anything else. And I don't think we'll see it for a while. I don't think we'll see it for years. I think if we were gonna get a Mario game, they would have done it at launch. I think we would have had it at launch, or we would have had an announcement or something this year. I don't think they've got anything close to coming out, and I think they're potentially just working on something or still in the planning stages or something. I don't think we're getting a Mario game for a while.
Yeah, no.
So what do you think the holiday game is going to be then
Pokemon.
for this year?
Pokemon, yeah.
Pokemon.
Do you think that's going to be like late November?
Well, it depends because the stupid dates and the Japanese thing, one saying fall, and then for us just saying later in the year or whatever. I think that will be the case. If it's not,
Prime
Pokemon
4
comes out-
hasn't been given a date yet.
hasn't it?
Has
No.
it? No, I don't think it has.
So yeah, it could be Metroid Prime 4 as well. Then to be fair, it'll be Pokemon or that. I don't think they've got anything else cooking. Do I think we'll get like another game announcement this year from Nintendo that's big? Yeah, for sure. They'll announce something.
Yeah, we
later in
got
the year
summer games
that we don't know about, but it's not going to be Mario or anything. They don't have that cooking. I'm certain they just don't have it ready or remotely close to being ready. And also, I think everyone is terrified to release games this year because of GTA. I don't think any company wants to release anything.
100%.
They need to announce a date for that fucking game now, so everyone can work around it.
That's why they don't announce a date, because other companies won't release the game around that time.
To be fair, they probably are. So yeah, these companies probably are sweating. They do not want to be anywhere near the release of that game. No. Like I honestly, I can already see them announcing the release date and some games being like, just moving. The game is the game's actually coming out a bit later.
Yeah. Oh, we've had to delay our game because of this, and this. It's like, no, it's because GTA's coming out.
Like, it's terrifying how much of a juggernaut it is, but like it is just it's just the way it is. Yeah. This is the era of GTA and nothing else really for a lot of companies. So I'm not expecting much from Nintendo. And also, I think everything they've announced so far is good enough for this year. If I'm being honest. In terms of what we know is coming, I think we've got a nice selection of stuff coming out. I'm
not in 3 months, you got 3 bangers, haven't you? From launch.
We're really good, I think. Yeah.
So I'm not too fussed about Nintendo having anything up the sleeve for now. But obviously, they will have a Mario game at some point. It's just when. They might even do a Mario Wonder 2. Everyone like that.
Yeah, I'll be down with a 2D Mario. But yeah, I don't think so. Doug Bowser saying stay tuned to the question that was asked him was when whether 3D Mario coming out doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely.
No, that's him. That's him just saying I can't say anything like yes or no. So
no, it's not
just
even
stay
that.
tuned and watch.
Doug Bowser's the worst, man. He gives like the shittiest. Like he's a nothing person. He has nothing about him. Sorry, Doug. No, I'm sorry, Doug. No, it's just that it feels legit. Like all they did was he was just like some random no name in Nintendo, and they went, "Oh shit, his name's Bowser," and then they just hired it and went, "Oh, CEO, it's you. You're the face of Nintendo now." And it's like he does not care or has no clue what he's doing. He gives the most bog standard, basic. I'm not going to give you any piece of information. I'm not going to give myself any personality answers in the world. And it's just really boring. It's sad. For a man called Bowser, he's the most disappointing person in the world. It's devastating.
The thing is, it feels that way because we come off the back of Reggie. You know what I mean? And so he seems like he was hired for Doug Bowser was hired for a different reason than Reggie was. Reggie saved Nintendo when they needed saving. He was the personality that you needed in front, so people, everyone made the memes, all that kind of shit. Well, the thing is, he was very, very good at his job.
He was the one that got Wii Sports packaged with the Wii.
Yeah. He did. I've been reading about that a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. That kind of. The guy was a good businessman. Like I say, I'm sure Bowser's very good behind the scenes doing what he's doing, but he's not a front man. And it seems at the moment they haven't got one. They haven't got one because RIP. He was quite a lot. He was on the directs a lot.
He was.
Reggie was always there. So sometimes they were there together. Shigsy just turns up whenever there's a new fucking museums
Honestly,
to announce.
yeah, when he turns up now, it upsets me. I get worried because I'm like, this is gonna be a stinker. This,
He's
I don't,
sweating.
I
I
think
don't want you here.
I think at least for the English directs, because I think we need a frontman. We need someone like we've got our Jeff Keighley's, we've got our Phil Spencers. You know what I mean? We've got these people that we associate with the brand, and I think they shouldn't have walked away from that as a company. They should have basically said, "Doug, if you want this job, you're gonna have to fucking do the job." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be the face of the company, because that's what I think, especially in the games industry, is really really good. The fact that we have these CEOs stood on stage saying shit and owning their mistakes and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, like old Todd.
Yeah, I just like having a face.
Todd Howard?
I like
Todd
feeling
Howard.
attached to these companies and stuff, and Nintendo hasn't given me anything or anyone to care about. And any time you hear there's an interview with Doug Bowser, you see his response, and it's just nothing.
Yeah, it's just why bother doing the
absolutely
interview?
nothing. Yeah, it's just not fun. It's very sad to see.
If you can't say anything, give us some fucking memes. You know what I mean? Do
Yeah.
something to make it see you seen. Anyway, we're gonna move on because we are running over. Lewis.
Yeah, this is gonna be a short one, but it's basic. It's not confirmed, but like a lot of people are very adamant that when the PS6 comes out, which is rumored to be, I think it was 2027. I think it's rumored
Same
to
as
be.
Xbox, yeah.
That alongside that, PlayStation are going to be dropping a new handheld and basically coming back into the handheld market. And this is like a proper handheld. It's not a PlayStation Portal type of handheld. That we're talking like a fully like hardware based handheld similar to the PSP or the PS Vita. And that's apparently going to drop alongside the PS6, and it'll be able to play everything: PS4, PS5, maybe some PS6 stuff. I don't know.
Which is it? Are they? Is it like a companion to the console,
Yeah,
the PS6 console, or
yeah,
is
that's
it
what we
like
don't know.
like a PS Vita where it's completely different software? I cannot see them going the latter there. I can't see them doing the separate software for their.
Doing separate stuff, but yeah, because it creates like a massive issue, and they're already kind of struggling. Like we're almost at the PS6, and they're still making games for the fucking PS4. Yeah, it introduces a very difficult issue for sure. But it's one of those things of, are we excited because we haven't had a PlayStation handheld since the Vita, which obviously flopped and did terrible. But anyone that actually bought a Vita, including me, can tell you that it was a very good time. It was a really good console. It did have a lot of good games. It felt incredible to use, but obviously Sony did not care about that thing, and they just let it die almost immediately. I kind of like that we're going back into this era of handhelds being a focus for everyone. Like every company now seems to want their own handheld or some sort of device that people can play wherever they want. And I'm kind of all for that, especially with obviously the technology getting better and basically being able to play any video game you want wherever you want. Obviously, there's a bit of a weird divide now from back in the day. Like the experiences back in the day, whether it was the PSP or the DS, it was a unique experience. They were always different from the console versions, and that's not even necessarily to say like games that came out on both like the PS3 and the PSP. I'm talking like just games that were made for the PSP. You could tell they were made for the PSP. It was a unique experience that was only going to be available on the PSP, and it was, you were only going to get that type of game on the PSP. And we've sort of lost that now because any game that you play on a handheld now is just a game that you could play elsewhere. It's not like a unique experience, that thing. So I feel like the magic's kind of lost there. But I am just excited about the prospect of PlayStation, jumping back into things. Because I think if there's one thing that Sony did right, not that they haven't done many things right, but if there's one thing they did really well, and I feel like they didn't focus on it enough, it's their handhelds. Because the PSP was incredible, especially at the time when it came out. Like that was like an absolutely revolutionary piece of kit. It was literally a movie player, a game player, a music player, an internet browser. It was like everything. It was like such like a cool item. And the PS Vita again was an incredible piece of kit. It's just Sony gave up on it after like a year. They just did not care about that thing at all. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering if anyone else is excited or if anyone else has any memories with the PSP or anything like that.
I got two sides to my response on this. So number one is I know why they are doing this, if they are in fact doing it. I know why Xbox is doing it, and it's because a lot of their customers now are aging, and they are having kids, and they've got jobs and stuff, and there is less time. You can't take up the living room TV anymore. Niall will be able to say. Niall's got a kid now. It's
I do.
You will play more games on a handheld than you will play on a TV because it's just easier. That is because everyone else can watch the TV. You can be there with handheld. You still be present on all that kind of stuff. But the flip side of that is, I don't see the point in it at all. I don't see the point in Xbox making a handheld that can play Xbox games. I do not see the point in PlayStation doing
I'll buy it
because game streaming exists now.
Yeah, and you could also buy a Steam Deck or an RGL. Like you could.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So right, basically, I'm the type of guy. I know you can get Game Pass on Steam Deck, but it's hard.
Well, yeah,
I'm
I'd
the type
argue on
of
Steam
guy.
Deck. I'd argue on Steam Deck in particular is the worst. 'Cause it's a Linux-based system. With other handhelds, it is much easier. It's a much more streamlined, straightforward experience because it is just a PC.
Yes.
But like, if for like, I don't know, 300, 350, maybe 400 max, Microsoft came out with a device which was built for playing Game Pass, I'll buy it.
What and what would you? And you still like it if it completely locked you out of playing like your Steam stuff or anything else? It was just a Game Pass machine.
Yeah, I got a Steam Deck for that.
Right,
but
well,
yeah, Game Pass.
but
I
no-
use Game Pass so much.
Right, so you're a cloud gaming guy as well. You know, you like your cloud gaming.
Occasionally, like I mainly not really.
So what point I'm making is, so the Logitech G Cloud thing that I've got can just cloud stream everything. You don't need a PC in your hands. You just need to be able to stream it. That's it.
Yeah, but that means you need to have the console, right?
No. So you can use Xbox cloud streaming.
Oh yeah, because Xbox has the cloud.
Not local streaming from a Logitech G Cloud or basically any Android device. You know what I mean? And it's like, are they expecting to sell both the console and the handheld? Is a handheld going to be able to be plugged into a TV in order to play it like a console? All these points kind of make it seem like, why? What's the point?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just make a good. I completely forgot about a phone. You can just download. You can just get a controller for your phone.
It's the same. It's the same with PlayStation, but you just buy the console. You got a PC. So if you got a PC and a PlayStation, you do not need anything else because all the Xbox games are available on PC.
Yeah.
So you can stream anything to a handheld in your own home very easily if you've got a decent router, which the vast majority of people do have now.
Yeah. I was going to make the other argument is that a lot of people still have really shitty internet. Is like kind of the issue.
Yeah, true. But you don't need decent internet to locally stream games. You just need a decent router.
But even then, a lot of people don't have a decent. A router that you get default stock from your ISP, they're always bad. They're garbage. They're all unless you go out of your way to buy a new router and set it up yourself, which a lot of people are not going to do at all. The default routes that you get are garbage. They're terrible. Unless you're sat right next to them, or you know what you're doing with the way you've got your internet structured, it's just not going to be very good. And I think still a lot of people just don't have good enough internet to justify it.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe
that's
I'm wrong about that, but I do think that's true.
Like, if they're doing cloud streaming, this will be the vast majority of people who get it. I think their first instance of using cloud gaming. You know. Like, I don't think they'll even know what a Logitech G Hub is.
G Cloud.
Those G Cloud. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think the G Hub's the camera app.
Yeah,
actually.
they need to make more of these devices, I think, and then more people, and they make them cheaper because they are just an Android tablet with a controller attached, essentially. But I think a lot of people will see the appeal of local streaming if you've got that stuff. Because, like I say, from my G Cloud, I can stream from my PC, I can stream from my PlayStation. If I had an Xbox, I could stream from that as well. Obviously, it's just Nintendo like that you can't do any of that stuff with, but that's fine because theirs is a handheld and a console in one, which I think is what they should do instead of doing two separate things.
I like the idea of what was I gonna say?
You just like the idea.
Just like so.
I do like the
Just
idea.
loves it.
No, something about the Switch and the PlayStation. It's fine, scrap it because I can't remember. I was gonna say something.
Scrap
It was
it.
gonna be very insightful and good, but I've lost.
Doesn't sound right.
I'll take your word for it. We are going to move on because we are running out of time. So the big cheese for this episode of the PTR show is that we have all played the beta of Rematch, the new football game from the creators from Slow Clap, the creators of Sifu. we'll go to Niall first. So Niall played on his own, and us three
I did.
played as a team. Niall, how did you find your time with the game?
Yeah, so I was a bit worried at first because I hated seafood. And I was like, oh, if this is seafood with football, then that's gonna be bad. But essentially, what it is they've designed it in a way where it's very similar to the first time you play Rocket League. It's just the difficulty is on like differently placed. So with Rocket League, the difficulty isn't really the controls necessarily. It's the physics, the fact that everything's physics based. The ball is physics based, and your boost is physics based. And it leads to a really high skill ceiling. And it's the same with this, but instead of that being the physics being the difficulty, it's just the controls, just the amount of controls you have. The fact that they are different depending on context. It's just getting used to how you control the player. From what I played, I thought it was really good. Like, it felt really good to pull something off, like even just to pass where you want to pass, because one thing which the game does is it makes it so that every directional input is localized from where the player is facing. So you could be aiming somewhere else with the camera, but when you actually do a pass, it doesn't go there because your player isn't facing that way. So it just kind of forces you to be a bit more patient, but then you got to be more aware of your surroundings because you don't have much time on the ball. When players, and Lewis saw this as well when people weren't passing, but when players are actively, you know, working together as a team, you can create some really cool moments. Being a keeper as well just feels so good. Like, it's pretty easy, but it feels really good, like, to make a save. And yeah, I just thought it was really good. I think that they are building from the ground up to try and create a bit of a less toxic environment as well. Like, there's no negative emotes. The fact that the match automatically ends if there's a 4-goal difference in the score, these sort of things makes it so that there isn't really much room for toxicity. But players will still find a way. I think this is actually going to be a replacement for Rocket League for a lot of people, which I wasn't expecting it to be. So yeah.
Cracking. So the rest of us, we played as a team. There was always one randomer because it's 4v4 or 5v5, I believe. Yes. I really enjoyed my time with the game. It is quite hard. It is quite difficult, and a lot of the I think now touched on. There's a lot of you got to unlearn a lot, especially if you played FIFA.
Yeah,
in terms of passing and controlling the ball, all that kind of thing. But I agree with Mal. I genuinely think this could be a Rocket League successor. Well, not successor, but alternative.
Yeah. I had an incredible time. I was expecting the game to be good because it looked fun, but it blew my expectations out of the water. Like you guys have just said, I think it genuinely could be a replacement for Rocket League for a lot of people. And I think it can honestly be a replacement for FIFA for a lot of people. I feel like there's a lot of people who are hanging on to FIFA because of pro clubs.
Yeah.
And I feel like in their head, or at least for me, this is kind of what I always envisioned unwanted pro clubs to sort of be. And I think it's like perfectly encapsulated that, and I'm very, very excited. I think it's a ton of fun. I played for about 7 hours. I played a bunch of ranked as well as with you guys. The game got so much better in the later stages of ranked. I got placed in like gold 2, I think. People were passing, plays were being made. It was just such a good time. I think every single role, well, I say every single role, there's like 2. There's the keeper and then anyone outfield. Yeah, but they just control and feel so good. And anytime you make a mistake, it feels like your fault. It does not feel like the game being jank. It does not feel like the engine being weird. It does not feel like the online having like connection issues. It just feels like you messed up with like the contact and you messed up with your touch and stuff. And it's just a really, 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 really fun time. I'm devastated that the beta is over. I'm waiting for it to come out again. Sucks. But luckily, it comes out in June, so the wait's not too long. And I think this is going to be a really fun party game, just slash multiplayer slash ranked game for a lot of people. I think it's going to satisfy an itch that a lot of people have had, and pretty much no game has touched. No game has tried to like touch this market for some reason, which seems incredibly dumb. And I think this game's going to prove that and show that. And I think we're going to get a lot of clones after this.
Nintendo nearly did, very nearly. With the
Yeah,
last Strikers game, they Transport Pro Clubs
tickled
and fucked
us.
it.
Yeah, they tickled us and then just ruined everything. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. I'm interested to hear Alex's opinion on it as someone who doesn't like football.
Right, so just 1 second, sorry, just to let the audience know what just happened. So Niall has to go early. He's walked away, put a picture of himself, and then didn't move the chair.
Yeah, didn't move the chair. Yeah, he sort of ruined that bit.
Oh, fucking hell! Sorry, before we get on to Alex and what is, because just while you were talking, Lewis. So you played the 5v5 as well, didn't you?
Yes.
Right. How did that differ into? Because we only played 4v4.
I liked 5v4 more. So unless I'm mistaken, so I'm sorry if this is wrong, but it's what it felt like when I played it. The pitch is bigger.
That would make sense. Yeah.
The pitch itself is longer and wider, and there's so much more room for not only like player positioning, but just for you to like feel like you actually have some control of the ball. One of the things that happened in 4v4 is it felt very tight. Whenever you got the ball, it felt like someone was on your ass like constantly. In the 5v5, it definitely just felt like you had a lot more space and you had just a lot more avenues to go down, whether that was passing or like deciding to scale past the player, or just genuinely standing there and thinking about what your next player is going to be. I think it gives you a lot of room to breathe, and I understand why it's the default for ranked. I think that's the mode they want to push as the default one, and the 4v4 is more just a party / you don't have 5 players in your squad, so you just go play 4v4 instead. It's nice that they have the option, but I understand why they're pushing 5v5 as the default one, because I think gameplay wise it feels the best. Like by far, it feels a lot better than the 4v4, and the 4v4 already feels pretty good. It's just the 5v5 feels right. It feels like that's how it's meant to be played.
That's a shame because we only got 4 people.
Yeah. Well, obviously it depends, because if like, not that I'm hyping it up yet as a ranked game, but if we play ranked, we'll have to play 5v5, so we'll always have a random person anyway. But for just having fun, that's why they give us the 4v4 option, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's good that it's her.
Cracking. So Alex, as someone who doesn't play pro clubs unlike us, what
are you thinking? I don't even know what football is. Not gonna lie. But yeah, don't play pro clubs. Don't watch football. I really enjoyed it. Not gonna lie. There was a few times where I messed up because I didn't know what buttons to press.
Because you refused to do the tutorial.
Yeah, that is kind of.
We're already playing.
Yeah.
But then like Lewis would be like, "Oh, just chip it," and I'm like, "What? I don't know what to do." He's like, "It's just R1X," and I'm just like, "I don't know what that is. Leave me alone."
Admittedly, watchers, Alex is a fibber, and I did explain. He's acting like I just told him to do things, but I didn't tell him how to do it. I did tell him how to do it. He would just then say, "I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it." After telling him how to do it, the frustration came from the 6th time asking him to do the thing that I've explained already, and him still not doing it. So don't listen to Alex, the liar. He's making him seem like a beast.
Again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and stay firmly neutral in the middle, and Lewis didn't help by changing the wording of what he was asking for every single time.
That didn't help. I'll admit that.
Went from bicycle kick to lob it to cross it. It's all the same. It's all the same button.
Oh yeah, but like I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We just like, oh yeah, just do this, and I'm just like, oh yeah, sure. I didn't know what I was doing. But I had a good time. I got a few good goals, a few good saves. It was fun. It was good times. I'm sad that the beta's over now because I wanna play more.
I'm itching to play it, bro. I'm like devastated that I can't hop on. I haven't had a game like that in a while, though. A multiplayer game where I'm just like, I have this free time. I'm gonna go just hop on that and play a couple of games. Like it just felt good to go play for a bit and then just turn it off. It's just really good. I'm very, very excited. Obviously, it's paid for. And I know a lot of people are going to be put off by that, but I think this is going to be a huge game. The beta had over 100,000 concurrent players on Steam.
That's good.
On just Steam. So, like, yeah, I think the game's going to be... big.
So, to me, if they give us Battle Pass up until the end of the year, then the paid for beta doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
It just one long battle pass or multiple throughout the year, and then in the new year they can start charging for battle passes, and that's fine. Then people can decide whether they want to stay on and keep buying it or
I
not.
think that's fair. I think it would be a big mistake to release the game for 30 quid and then, sorry, 20 quid,
Yeah.
and then have a paid battle pass straight away.
Exactly. Reward the people who are buying this game before you eventually turn it free to play.
I was about to say, especially since in a year from now, will it be free to play? Probably.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that'll be a bad decision. I think it works for games when they do go free to play, but it's just more of the thing of feeling cheated when you've paid for it and then having that taken away from you. And especially since I think it ruins some gameplay experiences, for example, like Fall Guys. Before it went free to play, there was a reason to play that game. You could collect the currency to buy things. Once the game became free to play, unless you spend money, you just can't get anything.
I just feel like there's no updates to that game anymore either. Like I don't see like anything be like, oh, there's new levels.
No, there is updates for sure.
Is it still? Do they still do seasons?
I'm not sure about seasons. I'd have to.
No idea. Because it used to be like a huge thing. It would be like new season for Fall Guys, and we'd be so excited.
So there is updates in the way that like more like collaborations and stuff come in. It's usually like around the same time as like it happens in Fortnite. But I think the way in terms of like new courses, I think they just make them and add them. Every time I play, I see a new course I've never played before.
Well, I think a lot of the course stuff as well has gone to the community. Yeah. I think the community make courses now, and then they just the high ranked ones get like added as like official courses into the playlist and stuff. But that's like always been my biggest issue with Fall Guys is I still like Fall Guys gameplay. It's just I liked Fall Guys when I could play the game and actually felt like I was rewarded for playing it. Once it went free to play, all of that got removed. It just disappeared. And it matters less in Rematch because it's all going to be cosmetics. But I still don't want to be forced to like pay for things if I want to look cool. Like, just give me options in these games. Let me actually play and gain something from playing it. That's all I want. You don't have to be that greedy. You can let me like get things for fun. That is allowed.
Legit. Right. I'm gonna close it off there because we've got other things to record today. But thank you very much for watching. We shall see you later.
Bye.
Bye.